Hey there, West Michigan meteorologist Michael Behrens joining you once again this evening as we continue to track severe thunderstorms working their way through West Michigan. If you were following us after the 11 o'clock newscast on Channel 13, you would have seen us cut in for a news round of severe thunderstorm warnings that are covering southern portions of West Michigan. So let's go ahead and dive right in and show you what we have on radar at this hour. Again, we are tracking severe thunderstorms that are working their way across the I-94 region and working their way out of the 13-acre side viewing area. The good news is this is the last blast of the severe thunderstorms this evening, and once these guys move out, we are done for the night. But right now, severe thunderstorm warning continues for Calhoun, Kalamazoo, and Van Buren counties. That will go until 1:30 this morning. In fact, they just scaled it back a little bit as those storms have dropped to the south of the city of Kalamazoo, the city of Bangor, and the city of Battle Creek, now no longer inside that warning. These storms packing some pretty gusty winds along with them. That includes winds that could gust as high as 60 miles per hour. The possibility of 1-inch quarter-size hail also possible with this severe thunderstorm. The latest update on the storm continues the warning for the southern portions of Van Buren, Kalamazoo, and Calhoun counties until 12:30 1:30 this morning when it will expire. The storm is moving to the east-southeast around 35 miles per hour. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on this storm as it tracks to the south. We'll put the latest storm tracker on here. We'll take a slightly bigger view, get rid of some of the lightning on your screen, and of course put the storm track cone on the front edge of this storm to show you just how quickly it's going to work its way out of our viewing area. And once it does, again, we are done with the severe weather threat this evening. Moving toward the east and southeast at 35 miles per hour. This storm is going to be in Decatur by 12:57, the Litchfield area by 1:02, in Mendon by 1:08, Coldwater by 1:19. Again, then out of our neck of the woods, so we don't have to worry about severe weather once we get past this final storm. Now, when it comes to the hail threat with the storm, I saw some people in the Facebook live, Teresa, and they're asking about hail. There is hail possible with this particular severe thunderstorm. Again, hail that could be up to quarter size possible in several locations with this storm. For the most part, Calhoun County, only less than severe size hail possible. But as you head into southern portions of Kalamazoo County, near Portage, north of Schoolcraft, heading toward Vicksburg, that's where you see the possibility for some of that 1-inch diameter hail and some of those brighter purples and reds on your screen. Also a good area of hail just to the south of Lawrence in Van Buren County. This is just on the south side of I-94 where we could see some of that heavier hail activity at this time as well. Again, possibly up to 1-inch in diameter with some of these storms. So that would be quarter-size hail, certainly severe thunderstorm criteria hail there this early morning hour. Now, when it comes to the other threats with this storm, we're also watching for damaging winds out there. Have not seen anything tornadic this evening, but you can see those bright reds, bright greens on your map. They're not coming together in any kind of concerning way at the moment, though we will keep an eye on that. But they are brighter, which indicates stronger winds with these storms. So if you are in southern portions of Van Buren County, likely in Decatur here shortly, you will see some strong winds work your way Schoolcraft, Vicksburg, southern portions of Kalamazoo County, into southern portions of Calhoun County, into the Athens area, into the Tecumseh area. We'll see heavy, strong winds here in the next little bit. Again, that severe thunderstorm warning is going to continue this evening until 1:30 a.m. Continue this morning, I should say, until 1:30 a.m. for those winds that are in 60 mile per hour range and hail that could be at 1-inch in diameter. And now the other threat we will be watching through the remainder of the evening is going to be the threat for flooding. As we head into the overnight hours and these storms move out, they are leaving behind in their wake quite a bit of rainfall. And that rainfall is going to push flooding into the highest risk category for the rest of the night, with hail and wind being the secondary categories. Look at the rainfall totals according to radar that we've seen here across West Michigan. Excuse me. Anywhere that you see in blue here on your map, like places up in Ionia County, Kent County, southern Newaygo, Muskegon County, that's a 1/2 inch of radar estimated rainfall. Once the purples come on screen, that's 1.5 inches. You can see areas in southwestern Newaygo County where you get into reds. That's where you could possibly have seen as much as 2+ inches of rain. And we're seeing that repeat itself with that line moving through the I-94 corridor. Lots of broad areas of purple in across Kalamazoo County and Van Buren County. Those are radar estimates of at least 1.5 inches of rainfall, including a little area south of Kalamazoo where they could have seen in excess of 2 inches of rain. And we have seen some flooding reports come with this system as well. Let me back up to the radar scene and we will put our weather alerts, the weather reports that we've seen on screen for you. The biggest storm activity all day long has been in the southern counties, where we've seen reports of tree damage out of the South Haven area, tree damage out of the Colonial area as well. Hartford seeing some of that tree damage and hail reports as well. But the new report comes out of Kalamazoo. That is for some street flooding that was reported by a verified storm spotter, flooding at the intersection of Westwood, including West Main and Nichols, seeing flooding at this hour. That's in Kalamazoo, with water reported over the roadway there. Now, the threat for flooding certainly going to be around with all of these storms this evening. I want to go ahead and go and look at our precipitation rate with some of these storms. Very high levels of rainfall being reported in southern portions of Kalamazoo County. That's where we see rainfall estimates there up to 1.5 inches per hour inside some of those blues and purples of this particular storm. We see some of that to a lesser degree in southern portions of Van Buren County, but we also see some of those really heavy rain totals stretching into Calhoun County, where rainfall of 1 to 1.5 inches per hour could be possible with portions of those storms as they move through at this hour. Now, flood alerts have started to come out this evening as well. We see 2 areas where flood advisories are in place across portions of West Michigan at this hour. One until 5:15 this morning. That goes for Kent County, Ionia County, Montcalm, Ottawa, Muskegon, and Newaygo. And then all of Kalamazoo and all of Calhoun County will be under flood advisories until 6:30 in the morning. Again, for those areas primarily that commonly see flooding. We're talking low-lying areas, poor drainage areas. Those are the biggest risk here this evening. But of course, you could very quickly get water over roads with some of those heavier thunderstorms as they continue to push through this morning. Now, we are seeing again that slight risk for flooding in place across most of West Michigan. Of course, that risk will start to decrease as we see showers work their way out of the region this evening. Once they do, though, the threat for tomorrow turns from the rain to the heat. We will be looking at heat index values well into the triple digits as we head toward tomorrow. More on that in just a few minutes. Here's the latest rainfall estimate here. I think that's the wrong graphic because it is just not showing much of anything there. So let me switch over to the other graphic here, and we will show the latest storms as they push through the region. These storms, again, should be exiting in the next hour. Once they're gone, as we head toward 2 o'clock, we've been pretty much giving you pretty solid time frame here all day long. The threat was going to stay in place about 2 o'clock in West Michigan, and the hour-by-hour forecast shows all of that rainfall gone by 2 o'clock. I would expect even most of it to be gone by the time we head toward 1:30 tonight, and then pretty much after that, dry through the rest of the night. But like we said, heat will be a concern as we head into tomorrow. That's where we see heat index values by tomorrow afternoon that could surge north of 100, possibly even north of 105. And that's going to be very similar on Wednesday, where we see more heat index values that travel up toward triple-digit territory. And with that in mind, there are heat alerts in place as we head toward tomorrow as well. Heat advisories in place across West Michigan. That includes pretty much the majority of the region, except for our northern zones. Kent County, Ottawa, Ionia, Allegan, Barry, Van Buren, Kalamazoo, and Calhoun go under a heat advisory tomorrow at noon, and they will stay under heat advisories until 10 o'clock on Wednesday night. So it is going to be a 48-hour period where you need to check on people, especially the elderly, children, people who are living without air conditioning. And if you're working outside, especially, take breaks and drink water because it is going to be quite dangerous with the heat over the next couple of days. Now, as far as that severe thunderstorm warning, it does appear to still be in place for the next little bit. We're seeing new updates come in with some of these severe thunderstorm warnings, but I think most of these are just outside our viewing area, more toward Lansing, so we can ignore those for now. But again, once we get rid of this last line of storms, that's it for the night. That's good news. We're done with the rain, and then it's just going to be the heat that we have to worry about as we head toward tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the radar here, show you guys where that continuation of the severe thunderstorm warning is, of course, get rid of the lightning because it is very frequent out there. In fact, before we get rid of the lightning, let's just put another lightning counter on it here so we can show you how much lightning. I'm sure if you're living down in the southern portions of the viewing area, you're certainly well aware of how much lightning there is. There was certainly a very loud storm that moved over the station here during our 11 o'clock newscast. 827 strikes through Van Buren, Kalamazoo, and Calhoun counties. That is just in 10 minutes. It's pretty much a disco show if you go outside and you look at the sky, because it is just an absolutely impressive amount of lightning with this system. Now again, that severe thunderstorm warning in place, southern portions of Van Buren, Kalamazoo, Calhoun counties. That'll continue this evening until 1:30 a.m. Could see hail up to quarter size hail and damaging winds that could be around 60 miles per hour. I'm going to go ahead and take a look over at our Facebook live chat, see what you guys are saying there in the chat. We've been pretty good about responding to most of these this evening. So Teresa, I think we answered your question about the hail out there. As far as Amy said, longest 90 seconds ever. The 90 seconds is a little bit of flexible there at the beginning. Alaska, or Patrick saying, checking in for friends. They live up in Alaska. Yep. If your friends are south of 94, that's where the threat still is right now. If your friends live north of 94, Kalamazoo proper, Battle Creek, Bangor, up to South Haven, you don't have to worry about the storms anymore. And anyone north of those locations, anyone north of 94, that includes us here in Grand Rapids, Muskegon, Holland, Grand Haven, all of you guys, go to bed. You're good. There's no more threat tonight. You're done. Let's see. Dan says, looks like their kids could sleep through a hurricane. They're asleep in Kalamazoo, but Dan is not. The lightning keeping them awake at this hour. Mackenzie's asking about the flooding. The flooding threat out there this evening is mostly going to be confined to those low-lying areas that usually see flooding, and streets. We're not expecting any kind of major widespread flood event, but if your work or your travels take you out late tonight, use some caution, especially in some of these areas that are seeing the heavy rain, because those are areas where you may quickly come up across some flooding on the roadways, and you need to use caution in those areas. Heidi asking about Hart. Hart, you guys are done for the night. If you're staying up worried about Hart, go to bed. You're good. Don't have to worry about it. Let's see. Dan saying looks like it's moved south of 94. That is correct, Dan. If you are north of 94, you have a good night. I will still be here tracking it for a little bit, so get some sleep for me. Chris says happy what they saw in Ottawa County. Good soaker. Yep, you guys got some rainfall. You got definitely some lightning. You got some hail out there as well, in terms of not severe, but just kind of some small stuff that was embedded in there. But luckily, one of the storms earlier this evening that was looking quite menacing over Lake Michigan did weaken before it moved on shore. That one was causing some concern with us and the Weather Service both for a little bit, but thankfully it did weaken before it pushed on shore. All right, so I think we reached the end of the Facebook comments here, so we are going to essentially just recap, take it from the top, take it till the end, and then we will go ahead and wrap things up here on Facebook Live. So here's again the latest radar across the region. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for this line of storms in the southern portions of Van Buren, Kalamazoo, and Calhoun counties. That will be under a severe thunderstorm warning until 1:30 a.m. Watch for 60-mile-per-hour winds and the possibility of 1-inch diameter hail that could come out of this system. We'll go ahead and switch over to the hail mode here for you and show you where that hail potential is. Hail looking a little more likely than it was when we first started doing the Facebook Live. So if you're in the Decatur area, southern portions of Van Buren County, along M51 areas to the south and east, be ready for the possibility of quarter-size hail, if not ongoing right now, in the next 10 to 20 minutes. The same as we head into southern portions of Kalamazoo County, likely to see at least small hail ongoing in Vicksburg and areas south and east, where you will need to worry about that hail threat continuing. That tracks further south and east, about to head toward M60 just outside our viewing area. Into Athens along M66. You're also dealing with the threat for the possibility of some quarter-size hail. That threat continues over toward Union City before dropping off as you head into southern portions of Calhoun County. The rest of the hail threat in southern Calhoun County really not looking too impressive right now. While we have you here, we'll show you the latest velocity, what we call it. Looks at the winds inside the storms. We're not seeing the threat for any rotation here, but you see those bright reds, certainly indicative of the possibility for severe winds here across southern portions of Calhoun and Kalamazoo County. We're also seeing the possibility for some of those strong winds in southern portions of Van Buren County. Again, nothing that says rotation with this right now, but certainly strong winds pushing through. We're going to keep a close eye on those storms to see if anything changes. But for right now, wind and hail, your main threat with this severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that does continue until 1:30 tonight. Severe weather threat will be highest for the rest of the evening on the southern side of the viewing area. Areas north of 94, you are done for the night, even though you're still in that outlook. It's an old outlook. We won't get a new one today. So pretty much if you're south of 94, continue to stay weather aware. If you're north of 94, go to bed with no fear tonight. You are done with the severe thunderstorms. The other concern has been the rainfall. We've seen quite a bit of it here across West Michigan, including areas where you see purple on the radar estimate, which is an indication from the radar that we could have seen at least 1.5 inches of rainfall. Some of those areas where you start to see reds pick up, that's where radar is estimating the possibility of 2-inch rainfall that could have come down from those storms today. So those are going to be the concern overnight, flooding in low-lying areas, and we do have flood alerts in place. Those cover portions of Kent, Ionia, Montcalm, Newaygo, Muskegon, and Ottawa County till 5:15. Flood advisory in Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties until 6:30 this morning. So do keep an eye out that for too. If you head out for work early in the morning, could come across some of those flooded roadways. Slight risk for flooding continues across West Michigan at this hour. Now, as far as the rest of the night goes, again, once that severe weather moves out, we are done for the evening. That is some good news there. Don't have to worry about it after we get these storms out of our neck of the woods down into portions of Calhoun County, Kalamazoo, and Van Buren County. Once they push out, we're done for the night. Now, the concern tomorrow is going to be the heat, and you're going to want to make sure you get up with 13 tomorrow morning, starting at 4:30. Meteorologist Samantha Jackson and Blake Hansen will both be here to talk about the heat and the dangers that come along with the heat as we head toward tomorrow. And I want to drop one final note in here. I saw a couple comments here at the end from Mackenzie and from Derek. Looks like they have a couple photos of the thunderstorms or of the lightning. If you want to share those with us here at 13 on your side, you can message those to the page that you're watching right now, 13 on your side, or you can also find me on Facebook too, or Twitter or Instagram, Meteorologist Michael Behrens on Facebook, and at Mike Behrens WX on Twitter and on Instagram. But for now, we're going to go ahead and wrap this Facebook Live up. Wish you guys a great night, great early morning. Continue to stay weather aware in our southern counties, and if you're out overnight or early tomorrow, keep an eye out for areas that collect water, because you could come across some of those early in the morning. And of course, be careful of that heat tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow evening again here, 13 on your side. Stay safe tonight, stay cool, stay hydrated as we head toward tomorrow.